Hello and welcome to Film Seizure. My name is Chuck Moore. With me, as always, are Jeff Arbuckle. Hi, Jeff.
So that's how it feels.
and Jason Oliver. Hi, Jason.
I also got
it. And also with us this week to discuss this week's film, Travis.
Thanks for having me on the show, guys.
We're already off the rails and we're only seconds in. That's
So
great.
anyway, we're talking about The Dark Knight. Dark Knight.
This is a gun?
2008 sequel to Batman Begins. So Batman had already begun. Yeah, we're not going to talk about Batman begunning. But the second movie, widely considered one of the best superhero films probably ever made.
Sure.
The Dark Knight. Christopher Nolan
up in this.
And David S. Goyer helping him
Yes.
write it, which is important as well.
Yeah, David S. Goyer kind of had his hands all over superhero movies in the 90s and 2000s.
Yeah, he went back to Blade, right? Didn't he?
Yes.
He
I
wrote
believe
those
so.
movies, or most of them.
Or at least was a consultant or something.
Yeah.
And then he did some work on Spider-Man, I believe, and X-Men. Could be wrong on that, but
Sam Raimi ones?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know that. And with Blade, that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah, so...
I forgot he wrote Dark City also. That is a very good movie.
Yes, it is.
Yep. No, I'm sorry, not the Spider-Man movies, but Blade, all three Blades, the Batman movies, the current, like, Man of Steel.
So yeah, he stuck around in the
Ghost Rider.
Snyderverse,
Oh,
right?
and who can forget the Hayden Christensen classic Jumper?
Jumper?
Is that actually a
Actually, that
classic?
was-
No, it's a joke. That's sarcasm.
I've
It's
never
a fun movie, though. I'm not gonna lie. I always wish I could teleport.
It's yeah, me too. I know. That's why I watched it too, because I was like, yeah, teleportation, and then it was not good. But
I'll tell you what is good. The
Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
This was a very excellent sequel to Batman Begins. I think it.
Yeah, it's hard to make a bad Batman movie, although
It's
it
been
has
done.
been a
You can make a
but
bad
not
one.
impossible. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard, but not impossible. Right.
Yeah, I can't remember what is the last Batman movie before Nolan took over.
Batman and Robin.
Batman and Robin.
is the
Yep.
last one. There's a bad one.
That's
for
why
you.
we didn't. That's why we didn't have one for a while.
Yep.
What, forever for that?
Batman Forever before that.
yeah.
Yep.
So I think that's why Nolan probably took Batman this direction, into the dark direction, to kind of take it away from that goofy, silly. Like Tim Burton's '89 is obviously excellent.
Oh, that's
But
my
that-
favorite Batman movie, but I know that that's not everybody's favorite Batman movie.
But that series steamrolled off of
Sure.
Tim Burton in the wrong direction. It took all the things that he had done and done them badly later, I think.
I also think that Batman had already been kind of trending darker with even the animated series.
Right.
Right.
oh, yeah, that's much
And-
more noir.
Yeah, and I think that he's picking up a little bit from there. He's picking up from some of the darker graphic novels about
Yeah, because
Batman.
around
Frank
that
Miller
time,
stuff, for sure.
Yeah.
around that time, the Frank Miller stuff was getting popular again. Frank Miller was an insane person. Is an insane person, but he was especially insane back then. But yeah, those the Dark Knight Returns, Year One, all of that stuff was kind of getting popular in the zeitgeist again. I mean, to the point where it's like there's a lot in this that borrows directly from the Dark Knight Returns, from Year One, like the Harvey Dent.
Right.
Jim Gordon, Bruce Wayne, or Batman relationship was a Year One thing. So yeah, I mean, so it makes sense to do that because that's what people think of when they think of Batman. Now, Travis, you're a big Batman guy.
Yes.
I've been to your apartment. I've seen all the goodies. When you think of Batman, what's the first things that you think about?
Shoot.
Putting you on the spot.
Insanity, bro. That's why I'm thrilled. I love Batman because I think he's just like controlled insanity. Like, this dude is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, he's off the bonkers, but he could hold himself in society, which is funny. So
Yeah. Well, so that's
But this movie kind of explores that a little bit.
yeah.
You know, it's
yeah.
you know, the Joker and the Batman are not that different. They just see the world a different way, or they want the world to be a different way, but they both have this controlled kind of chaos.
They're two sides
their
of the
lives.
same coin.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's the Harvey Dent is almost like a literal representation of their
Dynamic.
dynamic.
yeah.
At least that's the way I see it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the one thing, because see, it's interesting because there are a few people who grown a little bit with every Batman representation, right? Like, obviously, 60s Batman is.
That movie was good. That's a hilarious movie.
Well, yeah, sure.
Shark repellent, baby.
Well, yeah, but like you get like people who think, well, that makes too much fun of the medium and stuff like that. It's like, okay, sure. And then the 89 Batman came right off of Dark Knight Returns in year one. And so there were people who were like, well, okay, yeah, the gothic style of Gotham City and all of that makes sense, but it's still, everybody seems to get disappointed when you don't really see the detective in Batman.
Mhm.
I still want the detective.
Right.
That's the one representation I really want to see. Because, like, throughout my life, the 60s Batman is what I needed when I was a kid.
Sure.
Right? That's the one you want to watch when you're young, I think.
Yeah.
And then the 80s Batman was, like, my teen years. So
Yeah.
it was perfect for that time frame. And then Nolan comes along in the 2000s and does the more adult version, I'll say, just for lack of a better word, that was perfect for me in my 20s.
Right.
Late 20s, like, this is exactly what I want to see out of Batman. But now that I'm older, I want to see Detective Batman.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's
I
one
want
of
to
those.
see that too, but I still feel like sometimes they leave out the badassery of this guy.
They do.
Like, because they always bring him to superhuman level, and I know that's a cool thing to kind of do, but sometimes it's just like, it makes him corny. Like, in the movies, he's cool, but like we were saying with the animated ones or in the comics, this guy's like just doing so much badass shit, like fight style, running, jumping through a car that like flips over him. Like, that's cool, but then these ones like elbow punching.
Yeah.
Just like, come on, dude, you're not. I mean, the detective, you're cool, but you still have to be like the badass dude.
This did have some of those moments for me, like the iconic Batman moments that I wanted to see, like in the very beginning when he jumps on the truck. Like, that is Batman to me, when,
Yeah.
when he jumps through the garage and lands
Right.
on the car. Or when he
And
flies
even
in
does a
Tokyo
little
or
bit
Hong Kong.
of a you can almost see that as a statue, like, because the cape flies out and he's like,
Yeah.
all of his weight's bearing down. Yeah, there are some visual iconography there, but no, I get what Travis is saying too, because it's like,
I do too.
it's one of those things where it's like,
I don't know what any of you are saying, so just
it's,
Do you read any Batman? when
I'm
you were
just
younger?
kidding.
I was
Your sarcasm detector is off today, Chuck.
Was there any other sarcastic things said that I missed?
I don't know. I
Your
don't know.
sarcasm erector is off.
Oh. Yikes. No, but like you obviously have to cast for Bruce Wayne also. But most of the time when you think of Batman in the print comics, he is a pretty big, bulking guy. And to be honest with you, maybe the closest has been Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Just because he's kind of old and fat. I mean, let's face it, we're all getting a little older.
Yeah.
We're all putting on a few pounds, and we're probably all starting to look more like Ben Affleck, which is what I want to see, is that kind of guy who is a little bit bigger and he looks like he has to protect himself more.
He looks like the Batman that had gone through some shit, like
Right.
the older Batman, which is what he's
Exactly.
kind of supposed to be, right?
Yes.
Whereas the new Robert Pattinson Batman, he's
He's going to be
back
starting
to,
out.
Yeah.
And but hopefully we get a little bit more of the detective in that.
Yeah, that would be nice. He does look like a badass too. Like the one fight scene where he beats the shit out of the dude. I'm like, okay, that looks cool.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, like, so it is weird to think of, like, this is a movie where we're still seeing Batman doing like a lot of up close, fighting and everything, and yet he still seems small.
For Christian Bale.
Yeah, for Christian Bale. Like, but he doesn't seem that way when he's out of the costume. He seems like, oh yeah, he's the suave Bruce Wayne. He, tall, dark, and handsome. And then when he almost looks smaller in his Batman outfit, which I think probably exacerbates the whole voice thing.
I think that Christian Bale is the perfect Bruce Wayne and Batman. I think you could make cases for like Michael Keaton was the best Batman, but his Bruce Wayne was
Val Kilmer was
an awesome Bruce Wayne,
right.
yeah, and not a great Batman. But
Right.
I think Christian Bale, maybe not the best of either, is the best of both.
he's my favorite.
Yeah.
Because of that. Because he's believable as both entities.
Yeah.
His voice is a little, I mean, I've gotten used to it over the years. It's still
I think
sometimes
I'm going to defend the voice, though, because the whole point is the mask, the cowl. Like,
right.
anyone
Sure.
could be Batman. So if it was like some specialized gadget or like too creative and can't be replicated, then it's like, who knows who, like, we can maybe find this guy for real, but it's like, anyone could really be Batman. Like,
Sure,
it's just-
sure.
Yeah.
Anyone could be this crazy man. Like,
I will say I think Ben Affleck did the voice a little bit better.
Yeah.
Where he just brought it down to a lower
yeah, but
whisper.
then if someone, come on, if you were Bruce, like, that's like Jeff Bezos, if you just started talking deeper. You'd be like, that's so like Jeff Bezos just talking to you.
That's Jeff Bezos.
Oh. Oh, wow.
That's
that one.
funny.
I don't know. Is it sarcasm?
I don't know.
didn't get it.
No, yeah, it's like, yeah, I mean, granted, the moment that Ben Affleck's Batman calls somebody suspect, then I'm gonna be like, that's Ben Affleck. But
Right.
you suspect. Oh, that's Ben Affleck.
I mean,
I know that's Southie anywhere.
Yeah,
So anyway, The Dark Knight.
right. Let's actually talk about the movie that we're here to talk about.
So Batman Begins
it had a great
ends.
opener.
It does.
Man, The Dark Knight, I would say that. It was when I went in theater and that came on, I think it was just, I don't know, it's pretty engaging because you didn't know what was going on. And
Right.
then is this the Joker? Like, it's kind of lame. What's this lame, like, goofy clown mask? And then all of a sudden it ensues. And you're like, oh, this is real dude.
Yeah, it's like the guy's been there the whole time. Yeah.
I remember that opening scene was released before
Yep.
the movie came out, and I think I saw it in an IMAX theater before I saw The Dark Knight as the teaser for
Right.
The Dark Knight.
Yeah, I think I watched it online, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That was like the beginning of, we're going to show you the first 5 minutes or
Mhm.
something.
Yeah,
It always makes me chuckle, but not necessarily in a bad way, but it always makes me chuckle where it's like when the school bus comes out of the building and then merges into it, and then it's like none of the other school buses are like, honk honk, hey buddy, you've got
911.
building all over it.
I mentioned the same damn thing watching it this past time, but then I thought, you know what? Maybe those are just other stolen.
Oh,
school
just
buses.
decoys, sure,
Yeah,
they could
because
be.
that could very well be as well.
I do like that he was consistent with school buses. He was always traveling around in the school bus.
Yeah, he liked them.
No. I killed the bus driver.
Yep.
So good.
I liked originally when the movie opened too, where it's like, okay, so these clowns are trying to rob this bank, and the first thing that's off is the police alarm didn't go to 911 and went to a private number.
Right.
So the first thing you're thinking is like, oh, maybe Batman's all hooked up or something.
Maybe it's Bruce Wayne.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's Bruce Wayne, and
Yeah.
like Bruce Wayne's like, hello, yeah, okay, I'll be there.
Wrong voice. wrong voice.
But no, I thought, it's like, because even this time I'm thinking, it's like, oh, because I hadn't seen this movie in some time. It's like, oh, maybe Batman, they're calling Batman.
Right.
But then I'm thinking, no, Jeff, that's only in the 60s. Well, they would have done that.
Right.
The bat phone.
On the back. But then it's like, okay, so there's the first. Then they start picking off each of the
Right.
extra
Each
guys.
clown has been assigned
Yeah.
to kill the guy
another guy.
that completes his job. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And then then William Fichtner is the manager at the bank, and he comes out with a shotgun to like start blowing away these clowns, and you're like, what an idiot.
Yeah.
And then you realize, oh, it's a front.
Yes. Do you realize who you're stealing from?
Yep. And the guy is like really getting tough with him. He's like, you guys know who you're stealing from, you dumb motherfuckers.
That's who the hell is that? That's
William Fichtner.
No, did you say that? Sorry. Yeah.
Chuck and I just gave each other a look.
Whatever.
Anyway, but yeah, he and then of course that launches the larger part of the first part of the Joker's master plan, which is to basically fuck up the crime hierarchy.
He basically shows them how easy it is to get to their money.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And at the same time,
to them.
yeah. At the same time this is going on, there's a little bit of chaos in the city because the Sandman's still running around, right? And he's
You mean the Scarecrow?
Scarecrow. Jesus Christ! Why did I say?
I was going to say, like, Thomas Hayden Church is not in this movie.
Oh God, I'm trying to find someone to give a look to.
I was doing it all. I was like,
I'm sure the Sandman is somewhere around. Right?
sure. Well, I mean,
Him and Killer Croc are somewhere.
Well, yeah, if you're talking, like, well, which one are you talking? Are you talking about, like, the dude with the gas mask, or are you talking about Dream?
Yeah, I guess
So those guys, the Neil Gaiman guys.
This is one of the first moments, though, beyond the opening scene, which is great, where it starts to feel like kind of a old school Batman comic with the Rogues Gallery.
Yeah.
Because you know this is going to be a Joker movie, but you still got Scarecrow to contend with, and then you obviously have Two-Face that comes in later. So they do a really good job of fitting in multiple Batman villains.
You saying that they did a better job than the 90s movies of just tossing people in?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
And with Heath Ledger, we'll probably talk about him later about his great, but his direction is so much better too, because even in the original Batman, that like Joker, Jack Nicholson, like he's cool and different, but then all the villains usually in those older movies, people are like, I don't know how to play this character, so let's make them just the Joker. And it's like,
right.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
Riddler's not the Joker, and then
Yeah,
like,
right.
Two-Face, I'm the Two-Face
Let's make
Joker.
them wacky.
Right, so,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it's like, it's good that in this movie, each character too, even with Scarecrow, like kind of being whatever, and like they each did a good job at like making it that they're not just all trying to be a version of
Exactly.
And
they're all individually separate.
And you have to probably give Nolan a lot of credit for that.
Sure.
For steering that ship in a different direction, because it'd be very easy for people to just go down that same road, right?
Oh yeah.
But it's clear Nolan had a different vision for these characters. Yeah,
Well, and I mean that may be where Goyer comes in,
could be.
where he's like, hey,
It definitely starts with the page. Yeah,
right. It's like these guys are distinct.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah.
But we learn that the criminal elements of the city are adapting to Batman, right? They bring dogs with them everywhere. They have ways they believe they can deal with them, and this leads Batman or Bruce Wayne to want a more versatile suit.
Yes, things are escalating.
Yeah,
and that's very clear at the beginning, because not only are the villains adapting, he's also adapting because he can't be affected by the fear toxin anymore. But also, society is adapting by having copycats.
right.
yeah.
And I never realized that the guy in the hockey pads is the guy hanging outside the... I never noticed that until last night.
Brian Douglas.
Is that who that was?
It's his name in the movie is Brian Douglas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You really do know this movie.
Yeah.
Ask me anything about the 89 version, and I'm Johnny on the spot. But here it looks like Chuck's.
I wrote down some stuff. I forgot it was, Scarecrow and put in the Sandman instead. So
Well, there
I still make mistakes.
the copycat Batman. Yeah,
Batman.
The Batmans.
The Batmans. I like that too, because it shows that the city is starting to stand up for itself also.
Yes.
So he is inspiring people, but maybe not quite, like he says even later, it's not quite what I had in mind when I wanted to inspire people.
What he does have in mind is something else that's kind of trickling out from this, which is Harvey Dent.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So
Harvey Dent's the new DA.
Yep. He's a firebrand.
Yep, and he's standing up to the mob. Basically,
Yes.
Not scared.
He's not scared.
Stepping down.
And I don't think this
He's not
wouldn't
scared-
have happened
he's not scared
without
of Eric
Batman,
Roberts
probably.
and Michael J. White. He's not scared of them.
No,
No. Although I would be scared of Black Dynamite.
Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm scared of Eric Roberts too. He's a scary looking dude.
he's kind of an interesting character in this.
He
movie.
is, yeah.
He is, yeah. And there are little things.
He's very mafia. He's very like, what's
Very old
the
school.
best possible outcome for me in every decision that I make to try to orchestrate everything in my favor.
And he always has a shield, right? He always has something, a buffer between him and whatever is actually happening.
Yeah.
For Harvey,
Yeah.
and he has a lady.
Not Harvey. We're talking about
Marconi.
Maroni.
Or
Yeah,
Marconi.
yeah.
But yeah,
Oh,
Harvey
he
does
was
too.
playing-
Marconi plays the samba, right?
Listen to the radio, you'll find out. A city built on music is structurally unsound.
Which we'll find out one movie later from this. Apparently,
Yes.
Gotham was built on
was built on rock and roll.
rock and roll. All right, so so very early on, the movie already is kind of moving pretty quickly. It's got a nice little pace to it, where you meet the Joker.
Because it's going to slow down.
Which is funny because I think this corner of the table has a different opinion than that corner of the table.
Maybe, yeah.
But we'll see. But anyway, so they, so like the Joker, you kind of get to see him for what he is, which is kind of a loose cannon. He's going to kill his own guys. He is going to create chaos. He's out to prove a point. Whereas Harvey Dent is out to create order.
Right.
He's out to try to prove a different type of point that people don't have to be scared of, whatever, of the mob or whoever. And then you've got people who are. Then you've got like the people in the middle. Like you have your Batman, who's he's the sledgehammer to everything, and he's not like he's conscious of the of what he's doing to the city and the escalation that he's causing.
Right.
But at the same time, he is also not able to really stop doing what he's doing. He's kind of trapped in his mode, which is also relatively dangerous.
Right. And you have Alfred telling him, like, you, as a person, Bruce Wayne, you have limits.
Right.
And
Bruce Wayne doesn't exist.
right. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the way that he takes it, right? He's like, well, Batman has no limits. I'm Batman.
Yeah.
That's who I am.
Right.
I am not Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is the
mask.
Bruce Wayne is the mask, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. And so, and then you also have Gordon, who is kind of just loosely hanging on to everything and keeping everything straight.
He has it rough. He has it the roughest because he's like in the streets and he wants to do good, but like cops suck and he is very human. Like he's still a badass. Like, he's not Batman with the gear and all that stuff. Like
right.
He could die. He got the family.
Right.
He's
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He's got everything that Bruce Wayne should have.
all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a pretty common theme in this movie. I mean, it's ultra important that neither Harvey Dent or Gordon know who they can trust in their divisions or around them. They
Right.
all have people that are on the take, from Maroni or
And
another criminal in the city.
And Jim Gordon's crack team is made up of all people that Harvey Dent, when he was in Internal Affairs, had investigated for various not so great shit. Right.
Right. And Gordon's like, I have to make do. I can't afford to not use these people. I have to make do with what I have.
Right. And almost to the point where it's like it was almost like there was saying that like he picked these people because of what was he picked these people because of what was investigated doesn't really mean as much as what good they do, if that makes sense.
And this is also where you see Maroney is really pulling a lot of strings here. So yeah, sure, he's pulling strings for Joker, but it's his contacts. He's the one who's being the heavy and pushing these cops to do bad things, rat out their friends or whatever.
Right.
And that has some pretty serious consequences, obviously, later down the road. And Harvey Dent, obviously, that's when he emerges as Two-Face. But I'm getting ahead. But
right.
It's just interesting that both I think in equal measure, Maroney and Joker are both very much the villains here. But
right.
Where Joker is more the agent of chaos, Maroney's trying to bring order out of that chaos, so that hopefully he gets what he wants, pushes Joker out, and exposes him for being an insane person.
Kind of uses
Joker as the guy who will take the fall.
Right.
But Maroney is at every step of the way is trying to be the guy who comes out on top in the end, because he wants that old Gotham order restored.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, because I think he was even the one who was talking about like how everything was done with honor, with and it's like, okay, I guess the honor among thieves sort of thing.
It's the code
Very
we
much.
talked about when we were talking about Goodfellas.
Yeah.
And like,
And when we were talking about Miller's Crossing.
Yeah, the code.
Yep.
Absolutely. So just real quick, just the things that I think, Travis, you were going to mention this. Rachel is dating Harvey Dent now.
Yes.
And Rachel is Bruce Wayne's old flame, his old neighbor.
The old girl next
switched
door.
to Maggie Gyllenhaal in this movie.
Right.
Yeah, her face transformation was wild.
You could blame Tom Cruise for that.
Yeah, probably. He took her out of it, right? Or married her.
Yeah, he married her, knocked her up, and didn't want her making movies anymore. Pretty much.
Maggie's really good in this, though.
She is.
Like, I don't know if Katie Holmes would.
I actually like Maggie Gyllenhaal better.
Yeah.
Did it have something to do with the fact that Batman Begins and War of the Worlds were competing movies?
Probably. I don't know.
And Tom Cruise was like,
Tom Cruise is petty as fuck, I'm sure. Yeah.
He runs
L.
good,
Ron
though.
Hubbard told them that Katie Holmes couldn't be in this movie. It's the Dianetics.
Yeah.
Should they tested her what are those thetans? They tested her thetans.
Yeah, gotta purge
just
those
like, oh,
thetans.
nope, sorry.
You have too many thetans. You can't make Batman.
You can't make Batman.
Nope.
Of course, Michael
We gotta take care of those
used
first.
to be Batman, so they.
Michael.
That's too close. It's too close. It's dangerous. Michael Keaton. Holy
good.
fuck, that's good.
He's back.
Oh god. That's on Jason. Wait, we haven't done that episode yet. I don't think anyway.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Professional tease.
Yeah.
I almost said Thetan again.
You got some thetans.
Okay,
you guys
so-
have some thetans that need to be
Shit.
taken care of.
Yeah.
For real.
Like
Have you heard the good
Hook me up
news
to the machine.
about Xenu?
What are we talking about?
Xenu's the god, the Scientology god.
Oh, yeah, I must have forgotten.
Well, that's why I
It's
need
all
to
those
spread
thetans
you.
out in your mind.
My mind.
That's why I need to share the good news with you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Good Lord.
All
Okay.
right, so Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
Dating Rachel.
Yes.
Bruce Wayne wants to know about Harvey Dent, so he kind of orchestrates a dinner because he knows they're eating at his restaurant. He goes in there and kind of questions Harvey
Well, he
Dent.
shows up with the prima ballerina.
Yeah,
Oh, the Russian ballet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
which is kind of funny. It's almost like he prepped her to ask those questions.
Yeah.
But she basically gets Harvey Dent to admit that he, in some ways, admires Batman or admires what he does. Thinks he's doing it for the right reasons while he knows it's illegal, blah, blah, blah. And Bruce is like, okay, I can give this guy some money. Why don't you come to my house? And my friends will hook you up.
Okay. Yeah. What a thou? So, a thousand?
thou.
A thousand good?
Just, thousands. Fine.
Enough that he'll
Fine.
never have to raise money again.
Right.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, it's like if Robert Wall was there, he'd be like, "Oh yeah, thousand's great."
I mean, this must be Super PAC era fundraising, because there are still individual donation limits, but maybe not in Gotham City.
Right, probably.
Oh come on, everything goes in Gotham City.
Yep.
yeah.
When clowns are running around robbing banks, anything goes.
Yep. The I believe in Harvey Dent Super PAC.
Yep.
He gave people hope, right? So anyway, next we have the Joker, who is sowing his wild chaos. He goes to the broad daylight meeting of the criminal minds or the gangsters, whatever. It's like 5 groups or hundreds of dudes.
Always love a scene like this in a Batman movie. It's like in Batman '89 is one of the best ones.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
When the Joker makes his announcement.
This is like pulled directly from Batman '89 in a way. I love it. Yep.
And it introduces the Joker for who he is, like who he's going to be. If you don't know already, he walks in there. He says he's going to do a magic trick. He makes a pencil disappear in a guy's face.
Which was the
Still
coolest
one
thing
of
ever seen.
it is.
Yeah.
Like when I saw this in the theater, I think I almost stood up and cheered.
I gasped.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is awesome. And he's basically telling them. So they have gotten this guy Lau.
And Strap. Like, hey.
Yeah, when he's got his so Joker. But Lau is a Hong Kong businessman who Bruce Wayne has dealings with.
But
right?
he's also investigating them because he's doing everything under the surface where Harvey Dent has to go from above the surface. They're all investigating the same people, just from 2 different levels.
Batman has no limits, right? He has no jurisdiction. He can do this stuff. He's got a fake business deal going with them, so he can review
their books. Yep.
Right. Which is important because someone's also reviewing his books and notices some shit later.
Mm-hmm.
But
that guy's a little bit of a turd.
Yeah, a little bit.
But also not wrong. I'll talk about that later.
I agree. It's handled so that's one of the like a perfect scene, just like this one. Joker's like, look, you have to address the real problem here. You guys can't do anything because of Batman. Just hire me to kill the Batman.
Yeah.
And they're like, what do you want? He's like, half of everything. And they're like, oh no, we got Lau's got the money. You're crazy. And what's his name? Maxon, or does anyone remember?
We're talking about Michael J. White.
Yeah, he offers $500,000 for the Joker alive, $500,000 for him dead, $1 million for him alive. I think Gamble. Thank you.
In charge of illegal gambling.
Yeah. You get those literal names in comic book.
Gamble.
Yeah. And murderer. Hi, guys.
This is ATM robber, dude.
This is a legal street racing guy.
And that's Jason Oliver.
Right, that's right.
I'm still thinking about Michael Keaton. So.
He's done for the episode.
I like when I get you lit. So everything's in motion, right?
Yeah.
The Joker has told them he'd kill Batman, but they're like, no, we're going to kill you instead because we have Lau got our money in Hong Kong. And he's like, well, Batman can go get him. Like,
Yeah.
Joker, plainly writes it out for them. Like, this is a terrible plan. Batman's going to go fuck you up. You need me to
Pretty
kill
much
him.
what he says Batman will do, the Batman does.
Yes. The Batman. So we have that group therapy session.
Group therapy session. That's one way of putting it, I guess. Yeah.
That's what he calls. That's what Joker calls them. He calls them group therapy sessions.
Yeah.
But next, I think we have the Joker actually gets caught, right? And somebody brings him to Gamble and says, "Hey, so they caught the Joker," and he. Is this the second time he does the? No, it's the first time he does the. Where did I get? You know how I got these stars?
Scars, right?
Excuse me.
The first time was at the
First time was at the
with Rachel.
I thought that was after this.
No, the first time is at the fundraiser.
Yeah.
Because we're at the fundraiser, right?
Maybe.
We were.
Oh yeah, it might be. Yeah, because
I can't remember now.
No, it is at the fundraiser because he does the thing, and then he's like, "Let her go." And it's like, "Portrait for word."
No, that was the
And
second time because the first time was with Gamble.
That's what I thought.
And he says, because that's when he tells the story. It's like, my father came home really drunk, and my mom went and got the steak knife to protect us. But that wasn't going to work for my dad. And, and then basically he ends up, does he slit his throat or something? You don't really see exactly what he does.
Yeah, I thought he was going to give
the knife for the other 3 guys of Gamble's.
He breaks a pool cue.
That's right.
And he says, it's tryouts. Only one of you can join my team. Make it quick. Right? So this is Joker. He does not give a shit.
And he doesn't waste time. He doesn't dilly-dally.
No, and if he died, he wouldn't care.
Yeah.
Well,
there's one point where he does another one of those Nicholson things where it's like, come on, I want you to do this.
Oh, God, that is one of the greatest scenes of all time, in my opinion. But we'll get there. This is when Batman when Batman next goes to Hong Kong to get Lau.
Mm-hmm.
And we find out there's some cell phone technology that can map areas and things and do
like
sonar
sonar
stuff. Yeah.
There's a dumb fuck moment in this scene.
Like a submarine. What's
this has
that?
got one of those dumb fuck moments when, and maybe I'm wrong, but so Fox goes in and he's not allowed to bring any cell phones in. So he has to give them a cell phone, his cell phone. And then he goes, has his meeting with Lau, and it's basically a breakup meeting. And Lau's pissed that he's wasted his time. He's like, you could have done this over the phone. And then his phone rings, Fox's phone rings. He's like, you're not supposed to have that in here. He's like, oh, I forgot I had it. And that whole thing is just so that the audience knows that he's got another phone, so that when he turns it in, so that when he goes by and the guy says, like, oh, you don't forget your phone, he's like, oh, I already got one. Because if they didn't have that scene, you'd be like, well, why does he already have his phone? How'd he get that? Right? But they have to write that dumb fuck scene where his phone rings, which almost kind of gives him away. Right?
Oh, yeah. I would think that I agree with you.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. In one regard where this guy should be dead.
It's not really well written.
Yeah. It's a convenient, it's like we're kind of in a corner here. Yeah. Just have him carry in a second phone. Fuck him.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But the fact that you have to establish that he has that second phone in a way that's contrived always bugged me.
Yeah, I guess there could have been another way where you could have said,
I mean, he shows the guy his phone at the end. They could have just gone with that. Like him being like, I already have my phone.
Yeah, but I think that they don't, there's a moment where they don't trust the audience.
It's probably testing.
Yeah, they're like, we have to establish that he has this phone already when he's talking to Lau, which it just irks me.
Yeah, I guess I could see that.
Yeah.
Because why would his phone ring? It's like, fucking Christ, right? Like, turn the phone off. You know? It's the dumbest thing. Yeah.
They could have done something like in an elevator or something where he wasn't in the room with a killer.
Yeah.
You know,
something.
and you know, like something like goes
Was Lau really a killer?
I mean,
he's more of an accountant.
He is the money guy.
He's a glorified accountant. Yeah. Well, he's not a glorified accountant. He's a really good one. But yeah.
I don't think he's a killer. I don't think they're afraid of.
But his goons.
He's got goons though. Yeah.
But they're not just going to kill.
Probably not.
Like Lucius Fox, who Wayne Enterprises sent.
Oh, they could make things look like an accident. They could throw him out the window.
To me, though, that just feels a little bit
suicide.
like
I don't know what happened.
You're leaving a trail, man, and all these trails lead back to Batman, right? And those and when it's specifically Lucius Fox,
well, it's another
that trail doesn't lead just back to Batman. It leads to fucking Bruce Wayne,
right.
So it's this really untidy shit, for a Batman plot.
I just don't think they're afraid of him. They're not afraid of Lau.
Yeah, that's fair enough. They think he's just the dork with the. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. But I get those complaints. I just don't think he's a big enough fish to worry about. He just has the money.
Yeah, the money dude. Even the goons are as what he fights on the reg in Gotham. Like, muscle man. Like,
right.
Not afraid of your muscle men? Like, they both them up.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Well, you get those complaints often. It's like, do you have a whole, like a whole inbox that you get those complaints in?
Me?
Yeah.
BatmanComplaint.com.
Yeah.
You said I get those complaints, and the first thing I thought was like, oh, do you know?
Yeah. Never asked me about Batman for some reason. I don't know why.
BatmanComplaints.com.
Oh, buddy.
They have a whole Zendesk set up for it, you know. Oh, geez. Batman Complaint support board is busy today. Some guys must have watched Dark Knight in preparation for their podcast recording.
They're all from you.
They're all from stupid. They're all from this guy named Jarmo.
Lucius Fox, have fun.
Deprioritized.
I love it.
It's a feature, not a bug.
All right. So now, so you've got this point where, like, okay, well, Batman is going to throw this party, raise some money for for Harvey Dent, and he's also going to try to steal his lady. And he is.
Yeah,
I mean, he totally is.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that I kind of laughed at. So Joker comes in and starts looking for Harvey Dent. First of all, it's funny when he keeps going up to everybody. And he's like, "Have you seen Harvey Dent? Have you seen Harvey Dent? I just have something to say to Harvey Dent." And he like just goes from person to person. It's like, okay, Joker, take it down a notch, buddy. It's like, I know you're going to get an Oscar for this.
You can't do that.
But then so like Bruce Wayne's like, "Oh, shit's going down. I got to knock out Harvey. I'm going to go into my little secret panic room."
Yeah.
Leaving the two people who are just fucking in his dining room or whatever.
That's a Bruce Wayne thing to do.
That's total Bruce Wayne.
He's an aloof, young billionaire.
Yeah, it's like, no. So he goes in and he comes out as Batman. Now, where do you think he came out as Batman? And do you think he had to go around and like shush everybody as he was like getting into position?
No, I think like
I don't know. I think we should ask BatmanComplaints.com and see what they say.
Can just like disappear. I think he can literally turn into a shadow. It's never told or explained.
Yeah, he's a ninja.
It's just literally
He is a ninja. There are places in
I know
Wayne Tower that only a ninja can hide.
physics,
Yeah.
but he could do it.
Well, but it's a really well lit big room
Yes.
with like 40 people there, and he's just there.
You're gonna love me.
And then that was so much better in the trailer because you actually saw him,
Yeah.
and then he punches, and then they took that out of the movie. But anyway, I kind of laughed at that where it was like just thinking of like Batman like sneaking around. It's like
Like on the ground crawling.
Yeah. Don't here. I'm gonna get him. It's gonna be good.
I don't know. You
got a line. I got a line.
In the middle of the room, the Joker, who's got a girl at knife point. That's what everyone's looking at.
I don't know. I would be looking at the maniac in the bat suit.
I'm looking at both of them like, what the fuck's about to go down?
You wouldn't have to.
I'm going fight.
You wouldn't have to tell people to be quiet, though.
I mean, fair enough, but I'd be like, "Oh shit, Batman's here!"
You'd ruin it for
I do
everybody.
think that there's probably enough distraction happening with the Joker that he can come into the room unnoticed. I think that that's plausible.
Yeah.
Deprioritized.
Fair enough. I just giggled
I
a
get
little
this
bit,
complaint
thinking.
all the time.
I just giggled thinking Batman went around and hushed everybody. It's like, don't tell him I'm here.
It's funny. It's a funny visual for sure.
Somebody draw that cartoon.
So anyway, what
Send it
happens
to
next?
BatmanComplaints.com.
So the Joker basically realizes that there's some care for Rachel, and he throws her out the building, and Batman's like, "Oh shit, I gotta go save her," which is also important.
He told him to let her go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which he
it's a
says
bad
that's
choice of
a
words.
bad choice of words. It's like, I'm thinking, it's a bad choice of words to the Joker.
Yes,
He's gonna do it.
Yeah.
yeah,
And then they fall, and like I know he has a suit and stuff. Sometimes it's like, man, she's still at least dead, bro. Like just
you would
because you
think so.
held her. And
Here's
Carbon fiber is not soft.
I almost logged that with BatmanComplaints.com, but then I thought about it and it's like, well, that's a very Batman thing, and it's established that his winged suit allows him to catch some air and be able to actually sort of fly, right?
right.
So yeah, I think he's slowing the rate.
He's parachuting a little bit.
He's slowing the rate of inertia. Yeah, he's parachuting
But he
a little
fucks that cab up.
yeah,
Mind
she
true.
I think he killed that cab.
But it is a little bit.
100%.
But it is a little bit veering into the territory of Fast and Furious cars or cushions. Yeah.
Cars are baseball mitts.
Yeah.
My real problem with this scene, and it's one complaint that I have, is that Joker's gone after this. There is no conclusion to this scene.
Yeah.
And he's
The
just like,
Joker
man,
throws Rachel. He's like, I guess I'll leave now.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
there's
There's
my
no
job.
end to it.
Got
See you
a
later.
hanging scene a little bit there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my one complaint with that scene.
I wouldn't be terribly surprised if there's a little bit of connective tissue that got cut just for pacing or whatever.
Well, I mean, it's a
Probably.
2.5 hour movie. It didn't
Already,
really
yeah.
need to be any longer.
No.
But
Although these days that would be like a 3-hour movie.
probably. Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. So basically, the next thing that ends up happening is basically when the Joker is like, hey, Batman needs to reveal himself or I'm going to kill people.
Right.
Is it every day? one more person is going to die.
Yeah, I think
And we do find out later it's been 5 days.
right.
Because he's like, hey, you didn't disappoint. 5 people died. It's like,
Right.
damn, Batman.
Yeah, this is when he abducts Brian Douglas.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes. and he has
Yes, the great Brian Douglas.
moment of silence for Brian Douglas and Steve.
Oh, and Steve.
Brian Douglas, he was just trying to help.
As was
He
Steve.
had hockey
Steve caught a face full of fucking warp core plasma.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have that.
Yep.
We have Batman who actually extracted Lau with the cool fly hook. Like, that scene is freaking awesome.
That is great, like technological Batman. You know, that's the badass Batman you were talking about, I think, Travis, where he uses his gadgets, his toys, and just does
like a 1 second scene, and what we just established is like a 2.5 hour long movie.
fair.
Like, that's not
BatmanComplaint.com.
It's still badass.
But no,
though.
it's cool.
disappointment.
Yeah, I need a new one.
No, but that's, I mean, I'm a rip on it, but I still love the movie. But no, that was a cool part, like going in.
Well, because he learns about that from Alfred, right?
Yes. Not Alfred, from Fox.
That's right. Where it's like, yeah, there's this thing that the military can do to get somebody out really, really quickly, and it's Sky something.
Skyhook.
Okay, yeah.
Now, if you want to log something with BatmanComplaints.com, you're like, well, what's the flight plan on that? You know, that plane that hooks him, and is Fox on that plane? And again, it's all a little bit too much leading back to Bruce Wayne for me.
Fox is not on that plane.
Everything is happening in Tokyo.
Fox traveled individually.
Okay, but still, what's the flight plane? Everything in the air has to have a flight plane.
There's no flight plane for it. It's a
military.
It's a random plane that picks him up in the middle of the ocean.
It's like over the city of Tokyo.
Right, but
Hong Kong.
Or Hong Kong. I mean, yeah, sorry.
Or Shanghai, one of the other.
Batman, no jurisdiction.
Look,
they even talk about flying low enough that no one can notice and blah blah blah. I mean, they talk
Maybe
about
it was one of the Blackhawks, or was that what they were called? The DC fighter.
Oh, I don't remember.
Was it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Help us out, nerds. I'm not a DC guy.
But Bruce Wayne had
For what?
The pilot team.
It feels a little
the
fantastical that you could get away with flying a plane over Hong Kong.
It's a fucking Batman movie.
I know. I know.
All right. Anyway,
These
so Hal
complaints are
Jordan
way
came
more
over.
well founded in the next movie. But go.
Fair enough.
Go.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
We could do this with every movie. Marvel could get some smoke too. We're not going to protect those.
Let's
There are holes and
now, wait a minute. I'm not going to open up Marvel complaints.
My complaint
I'm off this
isn't that
weekend.
it couldn't happen. My complaint is that it's like shit, man. Too much stuff.
It was Hal Jordan.
Too much stuff
Okay, does that help?
is leading back to Bruce Wayne in those scenes. That's all I'm saying. It's like
Okay.
I feel like you're leaving a trail. Yeah.
Probably.
Well, but again, that could be, but also Batman is not somebody who's easily reasoned with.
Yeah.
So he can't see the trail that he himself is leaving, and
I'm just saying, if a little squirrely accountant can figure out who Batman is, then a lot of people should be able to figure out
He
who
needed
Batman
access
is.
to the books and see that a whole R&D department disappeared overnight, and then they started spending money, and he saw the plans for the car that Batman drives around town.
the Tumbler.
You need access for that. And sure, yes, every superhero in the world should be figured out by somebody. The fact that people know Peter Parker is Spider-Man half the time is dumb.
Yeah,
you have to suspend your disbelief on this
in the train,
a little bit.
break a pole, jump, and hang for even if it's like a second. It's like, dude, he just hung on the ceiling of this train for a second.
That's gotta be Spider-Man.
But what I
know
do
who I
love-
am right now, guys. Wait, do you know who I am?
Super Chuck.
No, I'm Clark Chuck.
Clark Chuck.
No, wait, no, I am Super Chuck without my glasses.
That is-
now.
I feel
That's
though.
semi.
Although I think that'd
a
be
friend
funny.
did catch me. I saw them never with glasses, and then I hadn't seen them in a month. They kind of did a hair thing, walked past me on campus, and they're like, "Travis." I was like, "What?" And they're like, "You're not gonna say hey?" And I was like,
So let me tell you, if you looked at them for 2 seconds or 2 minutes, you'd still be
And
confused.
2 minutes in the sky, going, I was in the mood.
It's like, hey, that's my buddy Chuck up there.
That's fucking weird. Anyway, sorry,
but I do like how the scene with Joker at the fundraiser does throw a little bit of that veil of red herring or whatever to make you think, the people in the room, the Joker, that it's actually Harvey Dent that's Batman. Like that works really well because
Right.
it is playing off of that. whoa, where's the guy that is here for the party? Who's the party's being thrown for? And now here's Batman, right? It's always that thing with Clark Kent. It's like, why is it that you're never in the same room, right?
Right.
They play that to its advantage to use that kind of trope to make you think, not the audience obviously, but the Joker think that Harvey Dent is Batman.
Yeah.
So it's believable later.
Agreed.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, yeah. So now people start kind of showing up dead. This movie, Steve, what was his name? Brian
Douglas.
Brian Douglas. he's so cool. He's got 2 first names. Steve just has one name.
Yeah.
Just Lieutenant Steve. But people just listening to this episode are gonna be like, what the fuck are they
Who
talking
is Steve?
about? Yeah. Anyway, so so at this point, like, Batman is talking to Alfred, and Alfred kind of gives some sus advice throughout this movie.
Some sus advice.
Yeah, one.
This is Bandit story.
Well, the bandit story where it's like, yeah, how did you end up catching the bandit? Well, we burned the whole jungle down. It's like, oh, okay, don't tell Batman to do that.
Or doing that, you could.
Yeah, it's like you could have explained all of the options you tried, because Batman will definitely burn Gotham to the ground.
It's like, oh, that was plan A. Cool,
doing it. Then
I don't
he
think
says,
that's advice, though. I
No,
think he's
it
just telling
isn't, but-
he says some men just want to see the world burn. There's no reasoning with this guy. There's no
which
real
I
way
think
to
he
catch
maybe
him.
also is saying that to Bruce Wayne too, though.
Yes.
But here he says, he's like, hey, Alfred, people are now dying. To which Alfred's like, well, you just got to weather that shit. It's like, you just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great. And I'm sitting there thinking, it's like, you just told Batman to weather the storm when people are dying. Or it's like, Batman's the last guy to say that to. Like Superman, you can say you can't save everyone.
Alfred, this is Bruce Wayne. This is the little boy that he's brought up for life. He is not going to advise him to take the mask off. There's no fucking way.
But you see where I'm saying? It's like this movie is full of good and bad choices made.
Right, because this is what Batman is. This is why he has to do that. This is the choice that Batman can make.
Right.
Batman can decide to let people die. Right? A normal hero can't do that. A politician can't do that. I'm air quoting because they do it all the fucking time.
I was going to say you
on their list.
They can't get caught doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. These are the hard choices that that's the whole theme of this movie.
Right.
Batman needs to make the hard choices for the greater good.
Sure.
Because he's the only one that can.
fair
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
Sure.
Fair enough. But still, I was like, when he says, like, well, you have to just weather this, and I'm like, I don't know about that. I don't know if you should.
He doesn't want to. He decides he's going to turn himself in.
Right.
Although it is funny, though, that, then at the press conference, Harvey Dent's like, all right, arrest the Batman. And then he turns himself in. At first, he's going to bat for Batman.
Right.
By saying,
we have something really quickly important.
No, you're right.
We have something really
I'm just thinking like it almost turns into an I Am Spartacus scene.
Kind of.
Where,
it kind of does.
Somebody else was like, no, I'm the Batman.
Oh, and then that one like fat old cop's like, I'm Batman. It's like, no, you're not. You're the guy who goes to Comic-Con dressed as fat Batman.
Let's be real here. You're not Batman.
We have to go. You're Batfleck. That's what you are. We have to go back a little bit because there's an assassination attempt.
Yeah.
On
Yes.
the mayor.
Yeah.
So, right, a judge had died. The
mayor is targeted, and the commissioner, the police commissioner, gets poisoned from the inside out, or gets acid from the inside out.
Right, he drinks it out of his bottle. The judge blows up in a car. And
they get the commissioner.
The mayor gets moved out of town.
Oh, you don't know that too.
Right, you don't know it yet. But
Right. Now, this is your big complaint about this movie.
The plan, like, what's the actual plan here? Starting from when they're doing the funeral procession and the mayor's speaking, right?
Right.
Like, what is the actual plan here? Because
I don't think there's a plan.
well, they fake
Jim
spoiler
Gordon.
alert, but they fake Gordon's death.
I
here.
don't think they fake it on purpose, though.
No, they well,
it's
maybe
not the plan. It's not the plan going into the scene. It is not the plan.
It is So
I think
what
he's
I was
hurting out, and then it's like the Nick Fury thing, like I'm gonna stay out.
Yes. They make the plan for him to be dead after he gets shot. It's not like you go get shot and then we're going to fake that you're dead.
But it gets muddier later. I'm like, okay, fine, that he fakes his death because he's protecting his family, which is
be removed.
But yeah,
from the
let's
board,
just traumatize them instead by telling little kids that their dad's dead. But anyway, well, I'll buy that. I'll buy that he fakes his death to protect his family.
We don't know if they told the kid that it's like, hey, your dad's missing right now. We'll see.
Well, they told his wife.
I mean,
that's the wife.
Because she yells at Batman.
Do you think she's not going to tell her kids that their dad's dead? She's going to pretend the rest of her life that he's missing?
Not the rest of them, but I'm just saying, like,
I mean, she's not in on the plan.
No,
because she yells at Batman. So, which is also another one of those things where Batman's just like all sullen.
So anyway, I buy that maybe, but then you've got a situation where, wait a minute, Harvey Dent has now turned himself in as Batman, whereas Batman was actually going to turn himself in.
Not the plan. Again, this was not a plan.
Right, but he was going to.
Yep.
And now who's making plans with who here? Like
Gordon and Batman.
To do what?
What do you mean
to catch the Joker?
To work. So So here's what I did some investigative work.
It all just seemed to work out, is what I'm saying.
Well, so the thought was that while a lot of people have the same complaint that you do,
interesting.
But one person said, the way I kind of worked this out is first, assuming that you have Gordon, Batman, and Dent now teamed up together. You know that there are suspect people in the police department, and you know now that the targeted list of people that the Joker was going after was a judge, the police commissioner, and the mayor.
Mm-hmm.
All people that were willing to take down.
Right. Yeah. He wants to sully Dent, so he's not on the list. But he realizes that probably the person who would be elevated to commissioner will be Gordon, a guy who's incorruptible.
Sure.
So the idea was that not knowing exactly who to trust, you remove one or two of those people from the team up of Dent, Batman, Gordon. And the idea is that now Gordon, outside of the police but still working within the law, is able to operate and still help fight, bring down the Joker.
Yeah.
So that was one person's theory, and I thought, yeah, okay, that kind of makes sense.
It's plausible. It's plausible. It just feels like a lot of perfect things happen.
We're talking about two crazy motherfuckers battling each other.
Yeah.
Like they're playing like Batman's crazy. He's working independent. Maybe has a plan. He's only given select information to who he wants because he's wanting to be in control of his game. Joker's like, there's no control. I'm flipping coins. We're doing this. I'm gonna maybe kill these people. I'm gonna make a threat. Is it a real threat? I don't know. I need Batman to make his face and come play with me. And then Batman's like, I gotta take this seriously. Who's who? Now I can't trust. It's just, they're crazy.
Everybody's crazy.
It's true.
Fair enough.
I can't. We can't.
And I know. And Gordon just being there then is a little bit convenient. I like the reveal that Gordon's alive.
It's not convenient.
It's a little bit convenient.
It's not convenient. Why do you? So you don't understand why Gordon's driving that truck?
So he is driving the truck?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I guess. I mean,
he's the only person he knows he can trust. It's the only person Batman knows he can trust. If they give the truck to anyone else who might be compromised, their whole plan is screwed because they just run off with Harvey Dent. They have the White Knight. They can't leave that to just anybody. It has to be Gordon.
All right.
I mean, it has to be.
I think you can put that in the solved folder of your.
I will.
Do it. I think we did it. I think we nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
It makes sense to me, and I think it had to be him.
All right.
But we got a little bit ahead of our
but none of it matters because they all got outfoxed by the Joker.
Right. This was the Joker's plan all along, was to get caught. Right?
Yep.
And we had to talk about that scene. I'm sorry.
Well, it's one of two things is going to happen. He's either going to get caught, and then the next part of his plan happens,
or
he dies, and one of the White Knights is sullied.
Yeah, it's taken down.
Yeah.
But that scene where Batman, like all of that with the truck, when they're moving Dent and everything, is just awesome.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But
I love it when they're shooting at the thing. It's like, oh, he's going to need something bigger than that, and then he pulls out a bazooka. It's like, holy shit! Well, that's
what is that? A bazooka? But it's so great because, well, the truck, Batman's tumbler gets destroyed basically.
Yep, but he gets the
But we get the bike, it comes out the side.
The
and
idea
the
of
roll wheels and
the bat bike is so fucking cool. Like the first time I saw the bike come out of the side of the car, I was like, that is the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen. And then he basically has the chicken moment with Heath Ledger, which Heath Ledger is so great. He's like, come on, I want you to do it.
Yeah.
Come on, I want you to do it. And of course, Batman can't do it. This is Batman cannot break his one rule, right? It's the Superman rule.
He can't kill, but he could have went up and just whiplashed.
He could have clipped the leg
ground and just
Yeah.
So that's the Batman.
He didn't have to wreck. He didn't have to wreck himself. I totally agree. Yeah.
So you want the Batman that would have broke his legs and put him in prison, and then we're done.
Put him in traction.
Batman can do that, and he has done.
Well, no,
stuff
not
like
for
that.
this movie because it's only like comics. They could do that because you're always going to keep bringing the Joker back. If they were on to, they're not going to have him in the third movie. Maybe they did plan because stuff happens. But no, he could do stuff. But the chicken thing just for me on the bike is like because you could just jump off the bike like you do all this crazy stuff. You jump out of windows 50-story like
he didn't have to hurt himself, right?
Yeah,
but it was also, I think, to the
he was
world
mentally broken. Like I don't know. He just snapped. Maybe I can't beat the Joker, the White Knight. He's still human, and then and fails out.
I think a bit of that is to disarm the Joker. I know what you're saying, but the Joker thinks he's won. He's not paying attention to anything else. He's got a victory, and that's how they sneak up behind him with a shotgun.
Fair enough, but I will say
it is a little bit.
Michael Keaton was going to shoot fucking Jack Nicholson with the bat.
It was. It was.
He doesn't care about getting kidnapped.
No. He just misses.
No, he wanted to get kidnapped. And why did he want to get kidnapped? I'll let you go, Jeff. Go.
Okay, so there's another guy who kind of looks like Donald Logue who gets thrown in jail.
Yes.
And he's got he's like, oh, my insides hurt. Oh, my God, my insides hurt. Well, so also previously captured is Lau, the bookie.
Yeah.
The bookkeeper.
He's got to go.
Right. And so the Joker has gotten there. He gets interrogated in a pretty cool scene with Batman.
Oh,
that's a meme now. Where Batman, like Jim Gordon's like, well, if you're not going to talk to me, and then he leaves and Batman's there. And
the question is, how long was Batman in that room?
Oh, that's another funny moment that somebody should cartoon out.
Yeah,
like
he's Ninja Man.
He's like hanging out in that room a long time.
Like,
in that shadow.
Is he like suspended up on the top there, like on the ceiling?
Is there a little vent that he came through?
Like, and the not to go on that movie, but with the Batfleck, like that scene was cool when it was all like spooky and he was just in the corner.
Right.
It's like the shot,
right?
So maybe I like to think Christian Bale is just weird. Like, who knows what he's doing, but he probably was just like standing. Like, no one he has a power no one pays attention to.
Oh,
no one thinks they could see him.
He's up in the corner.
You know?
I think he was up there for like 12 hours. Yeah,
but
just waiting for his
he
moment.
Got that core. He's like, that's part of his workout. Just wait, like with rock climbing precision. Just
I like the thought too that Batman and Jim Gordon had to have a quick conversation. But wait, before we put him in there, let me in there first. I'll hang out in the corner in the shadow for a while. I was like, well, it's going to be a little while. It's like, it's okay. It'll be great.
It's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Be like, wait till you get a load of me.
I'll think of something real cool to say.
Yeah, something awesome. Like, good cop, bad cop. Oh, shit, he stole it.
I'm Batman.
I think you just throw those things away for the cool moment.
Oh, sure.
I mean, we already established earlier that he had to go around and shush everybody in the room. So, it's like he probably had to do the same thing to the cops. Like,
I'm going to be in the room first. Just don't give it away. I'm here. Give me a cup.
They bring
creams and one sugar.
You think me up one of those?
You better make it a decaf. little amped up today.
Pick me up one of those donuts with the sprinkles on it.
I feel bad to anyone who's listening.
Anyway, so he's there to we know that the Chinese bookkeeper is in the one cell because they can't take him to county because he's going to get eaten alive there.
Right, Maroney's men will kill him.
Right, and probably eaten alive.
Yeah,
because I'm sure Killer Croc's hanging out someplace, right? It's Gotham. With the Sandman. So then Gordon tries to get some information out of the Joker, and Joker's he's just being the Joker. And he's like, well, if you're not going to talk to me, Batman's in this room. Bet you didn't know that. And Batman starts roughing him up, and because he doesn't have to follow police procedure. And that's when he finds out that the Joker's gotten to a couple of cops.
Right.
And that they have stolen, or that they've made off with Rachel and Dent.
Yep.
And they're in two different locations. And one of them is 250 52nd Street, which I would be utterly confused that it's like, wait, where? 250 52nd.
I would have been in the wrong place.
250 52nd Street. I'm there. Yeah.
This is a little bit confusing to me because you have that whole cool conversation about Batman completing the Joker and blah, blah, blah stuff we probably don't have time to go into. But the whole mirror image thing is discussed, right?
Right.
But then the Joker tells him, well, I'm going to tell you where they are, but you can only save one of them. And he gives the location of Dent.
Dent, but says it's Rachel.
And Batman, does he know he's being tricked, or does he choose Rachel? I still don't know for sure.
No, because he leaves. He says...
He says, I'm going after Rachel. I know what he says.
And so he says, Dent's at 250 52nd Street.
Right. But he's not.
Yeah. And Jim Gordon doesn't have a Batmobile.
No.
So he gets there too late.
So I was wondering if the Joker knew he would choose Rachel.
Yeah.
I think
and was hoping Dent would live. He wanted Dent to live, right?
Right.
Yeah, for the Two-Face.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
that's exactly it.
Yeah. So the Joker fooled him.
They took the best of us and they messed him up.
Right.
He got mad at him, but
that's
Batman
just
came in and was like, this isn't who it's supposed to be.
Right. It's great.
Yeah.
I love
but
it.
Batman still does his duty.
Maybe that would have happened if he wouldn't have been so eager in his rescue of this chick.
Because he thinks that she's going to marry him, and that's a heartbreaking moment.
There's this guy, I can't see him. He's under this mask, but he really liked this
girl. She ain't coupling up with you on Love Island.
I like.
She's leaving you for Dent.
I like Alfred's yoink of the letter.
Oh yeah. Oh shit!
Can't read that.
I think
yoink.
I feel like Batman would have chose Dent anyway. That's my thought. I know he's a loose cannon.
No, I think he's operating on
because he
what he thinks Rachel
because he was about to turn himself in. He was like, I'm done with this, but he's still playing Batman. But he's like,
you said you would have chose Dent, but he didn't.
And then
he chose Rachel.
I know.
Yeah.
And then if Dent does die, it's like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
I'll give up being Batman.
He has sunk a little bit in
Were you doing kissy noises?
Yes, he was.
Her forehead. I got you.
Kissy voices.
Noises, but voices is good too.
The voices, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, but he slipped a little bit in his standards too, because he is trying to get out so that he can be with Rachel, because she said, yeah, well, give me a call when you're not Batman anymore in the last movie, but then it's a different person now. So I guess
if Dent dies, that dream dies with him too. So he's basically choosing to save Rachel, but he's never going to have her.
Yeah.
No.
Because he has to keep
because she got blown to shit.
Well, no, even if he saved her.
Right.
He's never going to have her.
Although she might have been a Two-Face too.
Maybe.
Ooh.
Well, Batman's whole plan is to not be Batman and be with Rachel and let Harvey Dent do the hard stuff.
But if Harvey Dent dies, that can't happen.
It's true.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
that's why I thought he would choose Dent, but
he's working off of he's got full balls. This is the problem. He's not thinking straight.
Yeah,
because he wants that lady, not the the cops that go save the other guys. They don't have a Batmobile though.
Right.
They can't get there fast enough.
I mean, it's a genius plan on the Joker's part.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
this is
And
what the
then,
Joker
so while
does.
they're gone, he wants his phone call. Another thing makes me laugh.
Yeah.
I just want my phone call.
Yeah.
And so he riles up one of the cops so that he can take him prisoner, hostage, and go out so he can get his phone call, because the guy who's been brought, who looks a lot like Donald Logue, who's complaining about inside, my tummy hurts, he's got a cell phone bomb sewn into his body.
Is that a cell phone? Yeah.
And the Joker gets out and he sticks his head out like a dog.
That's a cool scene.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
It's a cool scene seeing him and being the only one standing when the explosion goes off. It's like that. That's the fucking Joker.
Yeah.
Like, he's so... Would anyone ever... I don't know why people talk so much shit about Ledger in this role.
Who does? Who does?
People do.
Really?
People say that Jack Nicholson is better.
Okay.
They say he's...
Third to whom?
I don't know.
Jared Leto?
I don't know. People say weird shit about Ledger's Batman, and they say stuff like, "Oh, if he didn't die, nobody would care about this performance."
Oh my God.
I've seen that.
I think
so
that is-
I
many
wouldn't
times.
say not
Okay,
care,
hey,
but I'm a
I know
little bit on that
I know
view
you've
of
recently gotten
he
into the
did a
comic
good
book world.
performance
They're
in Death.
fucking shitbags.
'Cause we
out
all-
No, I know.
feel a type of way of people's passing and give more praise and say things might have boosted him to a level maybe that wouldn't have been the same had he been standing. Not saying he wouldn't have gotten an Oscar, but I don't know if it would have escalated. Like, it was so
I think
great,
it's
because
an
that's the other
iconic
extreme.
performance.
Did he pass away before the movie came out?
Yeah.
Yes.
He did?
And
I
people
couldn't remember.
hang shit on that. But anyway,
Huh.
that's neither here nor there. He's standing there like the dust
People
settles.
say they're... Never mind.
No, you're right.
Were you going to like pull out some conspiracy theories or something? Oh, boy.
Well, no.
It's
But
all
the Joker's
Jeff Bezos.
got what he wanted. Dent is still alive and maimed and teetering on the edge, right?
And he's already, he starts to go insane the moment that Gordon died. Because see, that's the other thing. That's obviously not a plan, because he beats the shit out of
Schiff. Yeah. He beats the shit out of Schiff. His name is Schiff.
Yeah.
I was like, Chef.
I said Chef.
It's either Schiff or Schiff.
You could see the smoke come out of my ears as that did not compute for a second there. But yes. Yeah, so he beats the shit out of the guy. And Batman's like, whoa, dude. No. I'm going to turn myself in. That's when he makes the plan. It's like,
Right.
I'll be there, turn myself in. By the way, don't be surprised that Bruce Wayne's there, not me.
This movie's so fucking dense.
Is it Harvey Dent?
Yeah, it's a Harvey Dent.
Harvey.
That's some
It's a
good
Hardy
Schiff
Dent.
right there, Jeff. It is, though, like...
We're on our game today, Chuck.
Yes, we are.
But no, you're right. I mean, like, there is a lot going on there because, like, yeah, Dent is already teetering on insanity.
And then
To
his
the-
woman dies.
Then his woman died, and that's it. He's gone. I mean, like, and he is now a monster.
Okay.
That's pretty
so
good makeup job, by the way.
It's really good. Like makeup, CGI composite looks amazing. Every time I see it, I'm blown away by it. But
his
but
exposed eye.
I'm gonna
while
be
still
I'm gonna
moving
be
around
I'm gonna
is
be the
gross.
person that feels like he's a little too easy to push over the edge into insanity, and the way he retaliates against Gordon's family feels like just a little bit too bonkers for me.
Well, I think some of that is, I think there's something to say because he is the guy on the light side of the Batman spectrum.
Okay.
Because he has never had to deal with the adversity that Batman has, and once he gets it, he does not handle it like Bruce Wayne did. Even though Bruce Wayne has also similarly lost a lot of stuff and has gone nutty. He's handling it better because he's had a life of adversity despite being a mega billionaire. But I mean, but like he's dealt with death, he's dealt with these things and loss.
I could feel Jason on that a little. I feel like it was maybe rushed him getting there. Because like in the comics, I guess like one of the better stories, like Long Halloween.
Yeah.
He's like in this like crazy case. It's playing with his brain.
Yeah.
Like all this stuff's happening. It's breaking him down. And
Right.
then there's a
It's the
death
more
and all
like
that
Mindhunter
stuff.
kind of
So
shit. Yeah.
I could see the shatter. But like this one, it's like you were real gung ho. Like I'm gonna do this. I'm on justice, and we got to protect the city, and and like a little. I mean, it
Well,
sucks, but then
But
just be like,
I mean, the way I kind of rationalize it it bugs me, but a lot of things in this movie bug me, but I can accept them because again, it is a superhero movie, and I realize that I can suspend disbelief.
Do like a history, like 20 movies for Nolan.
Right? Yeah, and I like the inclusion of Two-Face because again, it feels like that big epic rogues gallery Batman movie, right? By having him in there, and it also maybe does show that Harvey Dent isn't really all that sane, even when he is the White Knight.
He's like manic. He's manic because the things he's good about, he's like, whoo.
I think they could have played that up a little bit more to make his fall a little bit more believable.
Make him a little more aggressive on the front end.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of that's just
like just something wasn't there. It was good.
Yeah.
And I believed it. I liked it, but it's like
I just think that like when we saw him earlier, when Eric Roberts is on trial, and the guy is like fucking with him and everything, he doesn't really handle that all that well until he then does.
Right.
Because he gets frustrated that the guy is now lying or going against the statement that he signed. But then when he was able to get the upper hand again, he's like, I'm Mr. Cool Guy. There's a little bit of fragility there.
Right. And there's definitely some bravado. Yeah.
Right. And his bravado hiding
he
fragility.
Takes the guy's gun out of his hand and takes it apart, and puts it in front of Maroney. He does. It's very, and again, that scene adds credence to the idea that he could be Batman.
Because you see Bale do it later.
Right.
It's like
when he takes the shotgun and he just rips it apart.
Yeah, there's definitely like
he's supposed to be the White Knight, and because he's interacting now, he's doing the Dark Knight path. That's not his role.
Right. And when he doesn't understand what it really means to be Batman, which was what we find out later.
Yeah.
Because he sees the Batman as kind of a necessary evil almost. But he doesn't quite understand the nuance that Batman actually deploys when he does what he does.
And Batman does.
But Batman does. Yeah. So then when Harvey Dent thinks, well, I can be Batman as Two-Face, essentially what he's basically trying to do, he goes way too far the other direction. Yeah.
So we still have like a whole nother movie almost. It feels like we're coming to the end, but then we have like a whole nother...
I know, that's what's hard, like remembering it's such a long movie and it's so symbolic. And then it's like a lot of scenes are important, but then I feel like it's like, oh, do we skip it? Is that later?
Yeah. So we should probably go through this quickly, I guess.
So at this point now, we've got... okay, so now we've got Harvey Dent is gone. He's gone a little crazy, but he's being kind of sent on a path by the Joker in the great scene in the hospital.
Yeah,
where the Joker's dressed up like a nurse, and he is saying, "Okay, basically, here are all the people that put you where you are." It's like, yeah, I may have been important to this plan, but all these other people set up these
people made the plans. I'm an agent of chaos,
right?
Basically,
and so he's he sends them after the cops that got corrupted because they have family members in the hospital. While
also saying I'm going to blow up one hospital if you don't. What is the thing that is it give up Batman still?
Give up Batman's right? Oh no! It's I'll blow up a hospital if you don't kill the guy who knows Batman's secret.
Yes.
Because that guy is now on Anthony Michael Hall's show and is about, because he looked at the books and it's like, hey, there's the Batmobile. Here's all this money that's being spent.
And Lucius Fox had said earlier that you have a maniac who is a billionaire who beats people up in the middle of the night, and your idea is to blackmail this man.
Right.
He's like, oh yeah, no, never mind. You can keep this shit.
But then he decides when people start dying, it's like, I can't sit on this anymore. Right. Which is fair, but at the same time, it's like, it's dangerous.
But then the Joker says, no, I don't want anyone to know anymore.
Right.
So whoever kills this guy, and I won't blow up a hospital, and of course...
So the first person who comes to get him is Gordon, and the cop that's in the car is one of the cops that has a family member.
His wife is in the hospital,
right? Yeah. And he's gonna try to kill the guy, but then Bruce Wayne's like, "Oh, I can't let my secret out."
Thing with the gun too, though, when he was, because I saw that with him talking to Harvey and whatever he had said, like not giving him the choice because he had his thumb down on the hammer. Oh, like with killing him. Like, you can pull the trigger.
Oh,
right
yeah.
Now it's like, even if you did, it's like, oh man, the Joker probably would have been like,
So then Bruce Wayne like ends up stopping that guy from getting killed because there's another guy who's like, oh, I'll kill this guy, and he's going to run into him.
He's going to T-bone the truck. Yeah.
And
T-bone.
right, and then Bruce Wayne gets in the way, and it's like right. Well, it could end up killing him, but yeah. But then the guy finds out, it's like, oh, Bruce Wayne saved your life, and he's like, oh, maybe I'll save this for another day.
Yeah, he gives him the little nod,
like, yeah.
I'll beat you up tonight.
Even though you're about to destroy my life, I just saved your ass.
Right.
Prick.
So then, that's when the Joker shows up anyway, and he's like, well, okay, I'm just going to blow up this hospital anyway, and I'm going to send Harvey Dent on his new path. And, to go find the cops that helped set up everything that the Joker himself had threatened, I think.
Yeah, and then Maroni tells Gordon, I know where you can find the Joker.
Right.
I feel like it was Maroni who pressed the cops, but on the behalf of Joker.
Yeah, probably.
Yes.
Right, because that's what ends up getting Harvey Dent into Maroni's car.
Correct.
And he does his little coin flip thing. And
I really love the fact that the coin is now blackened on one side after the explosion. I like that detail a lot.
Yes, because now it's not
two heads anymore.
It's chance. It's literally chance.
Yeah.
So then he flips the coin on Maroni. He's like, oh, well, you get to live. And he flips it again, but he's not so lucky. And it's like your driver. And it wrecks the car. I assume kills Maroni. Meanwhile, another thing that's gone on is that the Joker has gotten all the money.
Yeah.
And from the mob and is like working with a Russian guy.
And he has Lau too. Yeah.
And he has Lau. And he decides to burn his half. He doesn't even want the money.
No, this is one of my favorite lines and maybe in cinema history when he's like, all you guys care about is money. This town deserves a better class of criminal, and I'm going to give it to him. It's like, God, that's so Joker and so fucking beautiful.
That's good.
So, so now there's one last thing, and that is to prove that that people are just inherently bad. If Dent can be twisted as he is now, then there's a larger scale that can be twisted. So this is when you got two fairies, one with a bunch of criminals, one with a bunch of assholes out in Gotham Harbor. And each one has a bomb on it, and each boat has the other boat's trigger.
Yeah. And of course, classic Joker, he manipulates everyone into thinking that boats are the only safe way out of the city because he makes mention of that the tunnel crowd and the bridge crowd are in for a surprise.
Right.
When in reality, he had nothing probably planned for either.
No, it was the boats.
It was always
the boats.
And to which Batman at one point says to Gordon, it's like, this is the Joker. He's not going to play by what he says he's playing by or the rules that he sets up. So, but he's got a bunch of people from the hospital that he blew up, Gotham General. Mm-hmm. Bunch of those people are held hostage. Well, he's put all of the hostages in clown masks,
tape their hands together with guns,
and then all of his guys are pretending to be hostages, so that when the police shoot with their snipers and stuff, they're going to shoot all the hostages for them. While Batman realizes this, and he has to go beat up some SWAT guys too.
Yes, and before he does this, real quick, the sonar tech has been used to build a giant machine to triangulate the Joker's position based on cell phones.
Everyone's
cell phone mics. And Lucius Fox is like, no man can have this power.
Yeah, I'm out.
Batman's like, that's why I gave it to you. He's like, well, as long as this thing's here, I'm fucking done after this. Yeah. He's like, type your name in when you're done.
Yeah. So he's able to help him find the Joker, also help him know that when the cops are coming. It's a cool scene. I have questions how it actually works, but that's fine. That's movies. It's fine. It would be like saying, well, I don't really think that's how computers work, the movie Hackers or the Lawnmower Man.
Those are fair criticisms, but
yeah. So anyway, so the I don't even know that much about computers. I just know that's not how they work.
Control delete.
So then, so he's got to fight the bad guys. He's got to save the people who are disguised as bad guys by the bad guys, and then also fight off the SWAT guys who are trying to kill everything.
All while the people that are on the two boats have about an hour or 45 minutes to decide if they're going to blow up the other boat.
Right.
They're having votes and stuff, and
it
blah, blah,
should
blah.
be no surprise that the people want to blow up the criminals.
Yeah,
they made their
chance.
choice.
They had their chance.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was when I was watching the movie. I was like, "Fuck those guys." Like, sorry. I'm for real. Like, if I was on, I'm being realistic with myself. If I was on that boat and they're like, "There's a bunch of rapists and stuff," like I know they're not all bad, but
some of those guys just
really
jaywalked for the 20th time. You know,
but there's the children and the grandmas, and
I couldn't pull that trigger. I don't care who's on the
I'm not
boat.
touching the trigger at all. I'm just saying I'd be the guy who's like, let's blow up.
Somebody else blow the other boat up.
well, when Tiny Lister
you
comes
do
up
it.
and is like, "Give me the trigger," you give that man that trigger, or he's going to pound you into the deck of that.
It
boat.
is a little bit like the way he's acting before he gets the trigger. Like, give me the thing. I'm going to blow everyone fucking up. I'll do what you should have done 10 minutes ago. And then he throws it out of the boat. It's like, well, they didn't have to play it that way.
He could have just taken it back to his pals. So,
Yeah,
"Hey, look what I
or
got."
he could have been like, look, man, let's just throw it out of the boat. That's what we should have done. But
Yeah.
instead, he's like, I guess he played to their base instinct that they wanted someone to pull the trigger, but they couldn't do it.
Yeah, and
Right.
and they're like, well, yeah, this guy will do it,
Yeah.
right? And it'll let us off the hook. I think
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it was kind of perfect.
Now that I
do we
think
have
about it,
enough
now that I've
time to
talked through
jump
it, I
off
agree with
and
it.
just like swim to
No,
shore?
you can't do that because the Joker said if you
anyone
try to
leaves-
leave the boat,
Both of them
both
blow up.
blow up. So, I mean, I guess you could line everybody up and it's like, all right, 1, 2,
Yeah.
3. Or wait, are we going on 3 or after 3?
I love that.
Anyway,
You were early on.
well, at least I would be thrown
Yeah.
by the explosion.
The Batman beats up all of the SWAT dudes instead of like telling them like, hey, the clowns are prisoners, you figure that out for yourself. But he beats everyone up, saves the day that way, and then he has a fight with the Joker at the top of the building, to which it's basic. I don't know why he's using his thing anymore instead of his eyes to try to find the Joker.
That's dark in there.
Well, the Joker can see.
Nah, fair enough. He's got crazy night vision.
Yeah, he's got naturally crazy night vision. But he ends up fighting off the Joker, right?
Yes. Well, and then he throws him off the building.
Right, and catches him. And
Well,
so-
but we also get the, like the Joker kind of gets the upper hand at first because I think he stabs him. I think he stabs Batman.
Yeah.
And he's got him pinned and is like, all right, you're going to watch your city kill themselves, basically. And then when they don't, he's like, I knew they were going to be good all the time. It's like, this is Gotham City, Batman. You are wrong. And then he's like, oh, bummer. And then he gets thrown off the building and then he catches him. And that's when the Joker has his last say hanging upside down. He's doing a pretty good job thinking up his what he's going to say while all the blood rushes to his brain.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I give him credit for that.
Yeah.
And you didn't give the people of Gotham credit for them not making the choice now.
Well, that's true. That's true. He they ended up not blowing themselves up.
That's the Harvey Dent effect, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And so then he's like, hey, oh yeah, by the way, about Harvey, you better go check him out. And he's like, what'd you do? And so they go,
do?
why'd you say that name? Anyway, so then Harvey's got kidnapped Jim Gordon's family. And so Batman and Jim Gordon are going to go and solve that. And he's like, hey, I'm going to give you a bad day, basically. I had a bad day.
Right. Have you ever had to look or tell someone you love that it's going to be all right when you know it isn't?
Right.
And he chooses Gordon's son based on, process of elimination. And he's going to kill him. He's got the coin to flip. Batman shows up, some things happen.
He
Batman's
snags
like,
the coin, doesn't he?
yeah, he snags the coin and he's like, no, fuck this. And he basically tackles the boy and Harvey Dent off the building, drops Harvey Dent, saves the boy. Dent is dead. And now everything that they have worked for is dead with Dent. And Batman, remembering having a conversation with Alfred earlier in the movie, I think, is like, nope, you're going to tell them I did this. And you're going to chase... I think the end of this movie is fucking amazing. Like, when Jim Gordon's explaining it, like, we're going to chase him because he can handle it, and he's the hero He's the hero that we deserve, not the hero we need right now.
Right. Because Harvey Dent was the hero they didn't deserve, but that they got.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And boy, did things not get better in Gotham after this.
It never gets good in Gotham.
And the movie didn't get much better either.
They did that did not work out.
Nope.
The plan.
Nope.
No, and I think some of that has to do with the fact that Heath Ledger died, and there was a lot of pivoting for the third movie. I really wish we got to see what the original vision
Was there a
Would have
script ever released
I don't
for
know.
that? I
don't
would
know.
like to read it sometime if there was the original, Joker in the third movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
But we got Bane!
But this movie,
Bane!
what is it? The beginning of this one and the next one, people talking in masks and sounding weird and muffled. Because even the Jokers, when they're robbing the bank, sound.
Well, that makes sense, though, because those are cheap-ass masks.
Yeah, it does, but it's like a conscious
Oh,
choice. That
Batman.
no
The
one
difference
made.
is you can understand what they're saying.
Batman, you're the Batman. You're the Batman. Is that what he says in that movie?
all the time.
Oh, yes. Okay. Gotcha. All right.
But anyway,
Something
that
about being born in darkness.
yes.
Born in darkness.
Born in darkness. Sort of climb my way out of the hole, Batman. But anyway,
Your mom's black?
I still love this movie. I love it a lot.
No, it's a great
I
movie.
probably have an irrational love for this movie.
No, it's fine. Like I said, my favorite is always going to be the '89 Batman because it like,
Because of nostalgia, you grew up on it.
well, it changed my
Biased by
life,
that.
to be honest with you.
You have a whole episode on that, right?
Yes. I wouldn't be a part of this show if not for 1989 Batman. No, like I was saying to you guys, it's like without this movie, the comic book genre wouldn't be taken as seriously as it is. It won a pretty big Oscar, but then it led to a few years later, Logan getting nominated for screenplay, then Black Panther, and then the Joker both getting nominated for Best Picture. The subsequent years.
Phoenix winning Best Actor.
Yep. Phoenix won Best Actor. Did they also win
Suicide
screenplay?
Squad getting their makeup
Did it also win what?
Screenplay.
over Star Trek.
It might have.
It's a little weird that
But
Nicholson of the three is the one that didn't get an Oscar.
well, but it was at the time it was just not
Because I
taken
knew he was getting
seriously.
him. He was getting him in another movie.
I mean, it was one of those things where it's like,
Who's paving the way, Jeff?
well, yeah. I mean, it was if you go back to like Superman.
Because he was nominated, right?
No,
He wasn't nominated?
that got the only thing it got nominated for was art direction.
I could have sworn he was nominated. What am I thinking of?
and score, I thought.
I don't think it got nominated for
I would
score.
hope so, man. That's
Um,
banger.
But yeah, I mean, it's not taken seriously. Like Superman was mildly taken seriously because of Marlon Brando, which is a weird thing because he accepted a huge paycheck for hardly any work, and back end stuff too, I think. And then 10 years later, then came Batman, which a little bit taken seriously, at least box office wise, and some good.
I think it
reviews.
wasn't as studios got involved and they're just like, it scared the children and we need it to be like this. And it's like, no, we don't. And it's like, now it's just so corny. God.
Well, it was
I think part of that was diminishing returns on returns also.
well, yeah. Some of it was
But
that
that
I think they
ending-
were.
like that one was good, but it started leading that way. It's like, now I got the Penguins marching.
Well, Batman Batman
Like,
Returns
yeah,
was
it
not
was.
very well liked.
It definitely was
like it
a
had
little
the
goofy.
Catwoman, which was good. It was
Yeah.
still had it, but then you started getting that way, and then it's just
Yeah, and I mean, it's Joel Schumacher 100% took the blame for the direction that those movies went. He did not understand it.
Mm-hmm.
He thought it was like the 60s, and it's like, no. Did you not watch the other movies?
Yeah.
nostalgic value, though. I do for me, remember being in the theater and seeing that bank scene with it, like coming out the wall, like being pulled. I was like, "Whoa, that's so cool."
Yeah.
I remember being.
Well, yeah. I
like,
mean,
"Yeah,
this is
that's him."
this.
But then
I mean, yeah. So this one is something that is
bad.
that fits a different niche, but at the same time, it's also it started to legitimize the thing because this came out
The animated series
just
put
like
me on.
2 months after Iron Man, and so like even then, Marvel wasn't where it ultimately got a few years later with the Avengers, but so it was. I mean, all of it kind of steamrolled from here to the point where if you do it right, you know, I mean, a comic book movie is no longer a joke. You know?
Yeah, and we got to give Iron Man credit for some of that too. Like people saying that comic book movies can be good.
Yeah. Well, they can be appealing to more than just kids and old virgins.
I think part of it, I think part of it too is the fact that you had some pretty well established directors. What are you guys done? You're just going to whisper over there?
I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
I didn't hear it. I didn't even say it.
I think it's part of it is you got a couple very well established directors who are also working with a team of creatives who understand the characters they're writing about, and they have a plan. I cannot stress the importance of that enough. They actually have a plan to make a multi-arc story. Right.
Yeah.
This is not just one story in a vacuum. It's part of a bigger idea.
Right.
Yeah, because because like you understand where Batman comes from. You see him tested for the first time, and then you see him resolve that in the third one. However you really feel about the third one.
Right. I like it. But it's lots of problems.
Yeah.
Exactly, bro. There we go.
Bro fists.
It's a flawed child, but I still.
Well, yeah. I mean, but there's still a lot of cool ideas in it, and certainly, like there's a lot in this movie that I watch as an older person who understands some of the deeper concepts of like what it means for you to make certain choices that are hard to make because there are no win-win choices in this movie.
No.
So it's difficult to say, well, what leads to certain decisions being made versus what is the right thing to do versus what needs to be corrected. And it carries the whole thing to the point where it's like, there are even like choices made, on the political side and the business side, on the policing side. It's like, it's varied and they're tough choices. And it's tough to make some of those choices if you're not willing to maybe compromise a little bit.
Right.
Which is to say that a lot of these people are in very tough situations.
Right.
So, good movie.
Agreed.
Good movie.
Yep.
5 stars. 4 stars.
Jason just gave it
5
want?
batarangs.
5 batarangs.
You're going to give it like
Robins.
2.5 batarangs.
No. I like this movie a lot. I give it 4 out of 5 batarangs.
I give it 5 Christian Bales. 5 bales of Christian.
That's a lot.
5
of
bales
Christian.
of Christian.
Yeah, that's a lot of Christian. Yeah.
What are you returning for next week, Travis?
Next week, I am returning for Logan's Run.
Logan's Run.
Logan's Run. Run up.
Run up.
Love this movie. The science fiction movie that came out a year before Star Wars, but every bit as influential, I think.
Fair.
Probably the last of the old school science fiction movies.
All right.
For me, I watched that one. So my favorite book is The Giver. And that put me
The Giver?
on. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, it just gave me the idea of like, wow, weird worlds, dystopian futures, what? And then sometime after that, I watched Logan's Run, which is just a different version of it. And
We're going to get into that. Hold all of that because The Giver is on my radar too. Cool.
And I just read the book, so that'll help with some
Yeah.
stuff. Because
He
it
came
was
prepared.
similar-ish, but it definitely goes its own, I don't know, next time.
Next
Awesome.
time on Film Seizure.
That's right.
Where else can you find us, Jeff?
You can find us at filmseizure.com. You can also find us Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just search for Film Seizure. You can find us on several places where fine podcasts are found. SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, Audible.
And you can also listen to us on the YouTubes.
We also upload the YouTubes.
Yeah.
The YouTubes.
And Batman complaints. Don't forget. Send those complaints in.
BatmanComplaints.com. Go straight to Chuck, and Chuck will explain everything.
I'm out of the office next week, but I'll get back to you.
Yeah, of course, you go out of office after we actually advertise everything. Yep. That's great. So this upcoming Monday, I also have Monster Mondays. All those same places at filmseizure.com. This episode is The War of the Gargantuas.
Woo!
Little Toho Japanese action there. And this Friday at my website, bmovieanima.com, I am writing about Night School. It's an alright movie. Actually, I like that movie.
Is that the one where they write traffic laws on the board? Or is that Driver's Ed? I can't remember.
No. Night School is a slasher.
Oh, yeah, okay. I was thinking it was the movie about the people that had to go driving school at night.
Isn't that Driving School?
That's what I was wondering if it was called Driving School.
It might be. I don't know. Anyway. Or Night Patrol? That was a movie.
That just made me think of how Robert's like, what's that song about grandma getting run over by a reindeer? Ran over by a reindeer?
All right. So, everybody, come back next Wednesday for Logan's Run. Get your run sneakers on, because we're going to run.
You're running.
So until then, Travis, thank you for joining us on this Batman episode.
Sorry if I disappointed you guys. I could have been better.
You didn't disappoint.
Thanks, bro.
So, I am Jeff Arbuckle.
I'm disappointed in Travis.
Awesome.
I'm Jason Oliver, and you've been listening to Film Seizure.